afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is BNN 247, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting again live this Sunday afternoon with the Black News Network. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. You know, this has been a hell of a week we've went through, and we're starting out at the same place we left off with last week. So get ready for a great show talking about the redistricting here in Texas. Seems to be the talk of the town right now. So we're going to go into it kind of deep. And I think that because we have my co-host here, Mr. Claude Foster, he is a super intelligent individual about what's going on with the politics here in Texas, and he's going to keep us up to speed and bring us to where we need to be. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Claude Foster. How you doing, Mr. Claude?
Hey, brother, how's it doing on this? Well, it's kind of overcast down here in Houston. How is it up there?
Oh, it's a little bit hot, man. It's a little hot. I think
It's
it's
hot.
raging around 100 degrees outside.
Well,
I haven't
well,
been out in a few minutes, but I think that's what it's looking like.
well, it's hot with the temperature and it's hot with this redistricting. So, Texas is in the spotlight.
Yeah, Texas is in the spotlight, and you got that right, man. I like your hat, that 1619 hat. Where you picked that up at?
Well, I figured I'd start wearing it. I got the book 1619 Project, so
Mhm.
I've really been kind of studying different histories, different concepts. But I bought it online.
Mm.
When I bought the book, came with the
Yeah, I
book.
got the book. I didn't get the hat though.
Yeah,
I need to look at that. I bought that one when I went to the museum in DC.
right, right.
But how's everybody doing? Everybody's well. You
Everybody's
doing well?
yeah, getting ready for school, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So, how about it up there in the what y'all call San Antonio? What
Hmm?
we're H Town. What are y'all?
SAT. San Antonio. I
I mean,
I don't know
what's
if
the
there's a
moniker for what's
nickname.
the moniker for San Antonio?
I don't know if we have one. You know, if we do, it ain't something I know. You know, I
Yeah,
don't get that
I
deep
used
into
to
the culture.
I used to work up there, and I can't
Mm,
remember what it was.
mm. So it used to be something, huh? But it'll
Yeah,
probably pop up. Somebody will put it in the comments here
yeah.
before we
Somebody
get
put it. Yeah, have you listen. Somebody that knows
what they call this place here
what
in
they
San
call San
Antonio.
Antonio, like S Town.
What do we call it here?
Like Dallas is Big D, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Hmm. And
what's San
like the
Antonio?
SIP, like Mississippi is the SIP. You know, every one of them got their own little names. We got TikTok on as well, so
Oh,
hopefully they'll be able to hear some of the comments that we make. So if I repeat some of the things you say, I'm just making sure that the TikTok audience know what you're talking about.
oh, no problem, no problem, no
But we
problem.
do want to know what the nickname is for San Antonio. If you know it, put it in the
I
comments.
know it's not what Charles Barkley always talks about, right? About the big girls in San Antonio.
See, you want to go there. Want to go way back.
He brought it up.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
All right, so let's dive into what we want to talk about today, and it's basically about the politics of redistricting here in the state of Texas, and the bottom line, in the simplest terms I can put it, is redrawing the districts so they include the majority white vote and exclude the Hispanics and black
well,
Democratic vote.
that's what's happening. But typically redistricting is just drawing boundaries to reflect changes in population. But that ain't what Texas is
But
doing.
that ain't what's happening right now.
That ain't what's happening right now.
No, they ain't trying to change the depiction of population here. It's about white and black right now. That's white, black, and brown. That's what it sounds like here in this state. So, can you kind of tell us what your analysis of what you see going on here in this state? Now, if
So
you really want to, if you want to, you TikTok listeners, if you want to hear both sides of the conversation, if you don't hear it now, just go on and your computer and go to BNN 247 on YouTube, and you'll be able to see the live broadcast from our show today. So I'm sorry if you're only going to hear one side. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
well, the bottom line is it's a fight over who should be in charge in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is a majority minority state.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the white population in Texas, people of color are 60% of the population. Uh, Whites are about 40% of the population. But the congressional delegation, in terms of what this fight is all about, people of color are only 34%, and whites are almost 66% of the representatives in Congress.
Wait a second. You saying that the majorities are 34%?
No, I'm saying that that the congressional delegation makeup, people of color about 34%,
Mm-hmm.
whites are 66% of the congressional representatives that represent the state of Texas, that
Mm-hmm.
represent the people of the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And people
Okay.
of color are 60.2% of the population, and we only make up 34% of the congressional. So this is a serious fight that we're in. And what's even more serious is these redistricting battles typically take place every 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
your president, our president, has told Texas to go ahead and find him 5 additional seats.
Yeah, let me tell you exactly what he said. He said the move to flip 5 U.S. House seats to the Republicans
Right.
is being made as polls indicate that the U.S. president's party will struggle to hang on to its razor slim majority in the chamber in the next year's midterm election. The Republicans currently hold a margin of just 3 seats.
So you can see how critical this is.
Yeah.
This is like Appomattox.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the ultimate battle of the Civil War, and
Dealt on paper.
that's on paper. And so
Mm-hmm.
our, if it, you almost have to be out of the country to not know what's going on. It's been covered by every major news channel almost every day that it's happened, and it's being covered because our black elected officials, our people of color, left this state to prevent this bogus takeover by the by the
Mm-hmm.
current legislature.
Okay,
And
and he issued his newest threats today, saying that he would use his power to call a special session for the Texas legislature to extend the battle indefinitely. The
well,
special session lasts 30 days at a time. Go ahead.
but not only that, he's withholding the pay of representatives that are out of the state.
Mm-hmm.
They normally get paid direct deposit to the bank accounts. Now
Mm-hmm.
they got to come and pick it up themselves. I mean, they playing dirty, man. Now they
Yeah,
got to come and get their money.
that's
And,
real dirty.
and since they're not in the legislature working, he's
Mm-hmm.
cutting their staff pay. He's cutting their funding for their newsletters.
But the staff is still in the office, though, right?
Right, but the legislators are not here working. So he said that we're going to cut the budget. We're gonna since you're not here working, you're not sending out nothing in a newsletter. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
cut the money to your newsletter. I mean, they're getting down and dirty. This is
So
just
they're
this is
going
like
after
street
this.
warfare. Yeah, this is
And it's so obvious to me, Claude, that these tactics that are being used right now are gutter wrenching, low balling. I mean,
yeah.
you're going to for the. I mean, you're acting like thugs on the street when it comes to this political gerrymandering. It's pretty sad to me. That we have to stoop to this level
Well,
in order.
I think the Democrats has finally figured out you don't bring a gun. You don't bring what's the saying? You bring a
Hmm.
certain type of thing to a knife fight or to a gunfight. You don't bring a knife to a
You don't bring a
gunfight.
knife to a gunfight.
You bring
Yeah.
you bring a gun. You bring a gun or you bring a cannon. And so I mean, I think
Hmm.
our Democrats have kind of figured that out, and so they're fighting fire with fire.
Hmm.
And other states have threatened to do the same thing Texas do. If you gain five, we're gonna pick up five here in New York, or we're gonna pick up five in California, or we're gonna pick up five in some other state. So
Now,
that
I have a question for you. Have the Democrats ever dived into doing gerrymandering the same way? Do we ever go to that level?
what both parties do it, yes.
Okay. So
But
it's
it's
across the board.
it's a political you know
Hmm.
issue that eventually is going to probably be decided by the Supreme Court. Because I don't want to bore listeners about court cases and stuff like that. But majority minority districts were authorized in the 1982 revision to the Voting Rights Act.
Hmm.
And so black and Hispanic districts has never been tested until now. Texas has always been at the forefront of some of these battles, some of these
Hmm.
court cases.
Hmm.
And so what got us here now is because this case that was filed in Galveston. Uh, the case was Petaway versus Galveston County, where
Hmm.
blacks and Hispanics formed a coalition to elect a minority uh, commissioner in Galveston County,
Hmm.
and Galveston County filed a lawsuit challenging that coalition district. And
So
the Fifth Circuit first ruled in their favor, but the full court basically ruled that coalition districts are not authorized by the Voting Rights Act.
hmm
Ultimately, that's going to be decided in the court.
hmm
Ultimately,
all the way up to the
and the
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court is not really our friend right now. It's a 6-3 conservative majority,
Yeah.
and they've been working to either weaken or get rid of the Voting Rights Act. Number of recent court cases. I mean, we've had favorable decisions in Alabama, my home state. We just picked up another black representative, but it wasn't a coalition necessarily district. It was a
Hmm.
majority black district drawn.
Hmm.
So I don't, it's kind of complicated, and I don't want to confuse the audience as to
Hmm.
what's going on in Texas. It's a power grab.
Hmm.
The Republicans are doing what they want to do because they can.
Yeah.
They got the majority. Trump told them to do it, and they can do it. And there is nothing in their way to stop them from doing it. And that's why our uh, Democrat and minority colleagues on the Democratic side had to leave the state to
Hmm.
prevent them from that power grab.
Hmm.
And they say they're going to stay out until whenever,
They
until the
said for the
government
next
stops.
2 weeks. The last thing I heard was they were going to stay out 2 more weeks.
Yeah, but the
One
governor said he was going to call a special section over and over and
over and
over
over
and
and over
over
and
and
over.
over.
And I think he will. He's going to call out on these special sessions every chance he gets until the Democrats come back. They got to come back sooner or later. And right now, with school starting up, that's a real reason for many of them to come back because I'm sure they have children that are about to go to school.
Well, they have children, they have jobs.
Hmm.
I mean, the
Some of
pay,
them do have jobs, yeah,
all they make is $600 a month in the legislature.
from being in that position.
Right. So I mean, so
But
most of them got
see,
jobs.
they make money from lobbyists, though.
Well, they got.
I was looking at what they said about Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Hmm.
The last thing I was looking at, he was making $680,000 just by siding with Israel. So these people are making millions of dollars just by being in the position and siding on certain levels.
But I don't think that we want the listeners to believe that it's just Democrats doing it. They all
No,
do it.
not.
You
They
know,
all do it.
I
They
mean,
all
it's.
do it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
what do you think the power grab is all about? It's about
Staying in the charge of money.
staying in charge of the pot.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
what.
let's switch gears a little bit. Then we're going to come back to this because this is going to be the topic for the rest of the day. But I want to make sure we don't overlook what's happening with Putin and Donald Trump having the meeting in Alaska, and but they're omitting. Well, I ain't saying they are omitting him, but they haven't included the Ukrainian president as of yet.
Yeah, Zelensky. Yeah, I saw it on the news this morning. So
Mhm.
what's your takeaway on that?
I don't think you can decide Ukraine's welfare without the Ukrainian president being present. So it's just a matter of being correct. You want to be politically correct and cause this war to come to an end, then you're going to have to do some politically correct things, and that's going to require you to invite Zelensky to the table. I mean, he has to be there too. And I already know Donald Trump has an issue with him, with the Ukrainian president, and that's going to put a lot of stress on that meeting because Putin don't want to agree to anything anyway. He wants to do what Putin wants to
Well,
do.
Zelensky. I saw on the news this morning where Zelensky basically said that he wasn't going to secede any of the land that Russia
Mhm,
has taken. That they're not going to,
mhm.
they're not going to allow that. So I
And
mean,
go ahead.
it's gonna be you know
But, it really going to be a waste of time. I'm thinking it's just going to be a waste of time because I'm thinking Russia attacked Ukraine for a particular reason because they wanted something,
they want
and,
land. They want the land
and
back.
they want
They
the
want
land. It used to be part of the USSR
right.
a long time ago, but now Putin is trying to pull that back together for some
Well,
reason.
the irony of this situation is this meeting and stuff. Uh, uh, the president wants to get out of this country because he wants to avoid that Jeffrey Epstein. Anytime a president gets in trouble, they come up with some kind of world, you know,
He can spin it, man.
as cover,
He's the world's
to
greatest spinner. He knows
so
how to turn that story.
so this is all about this is all about getting Epstein off the front pages of the newspapers.
And that's another big topic going on right now, the Epstein thing. And I was looking at some newsreels this morning, and they were showing quite a few of Donald Trump's escapades with Epstein. And for him to say he don't know the guy,
Man, I
you
think they
know,
got pictures. I think they got
they got
look,
compromising
look
pictures of this
exactly
president. Yeah,
of
so
him
it
with
gets a
very
little deep.
young girls. Yeah.
It gets a lot deeper than what it is right now, and that's not a good thing or not a good look for DT.
So this strategy of, of, of going dealing with a world crisis or manufacturing some kind of major
Mhm,
event dealing with other nations, that's part of America's history. The president avoiding crisis at home when they're
mhm,
at the center. It's a distraction.
mhm. And same with Israel and the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians. That whole situation creates another distraction. He's supposed to be in the middle of all of this too. And then you have some of the Israelis asking for DT to intervene and get them to release the hostages. I mean, but you have babies starving over there, and then you have the Israel in control of the food supply and the Red Cross and the aid. I mean, how much suffering do you really want to cause human beings?
Yeah, but
You know,
you got to first assume that Israel sees the Palestinians as being human beings. I don't think that they see them as.
mm.
I mean,
What's
you
the
don't
difference?
starve. You don't
Huh?
starve a people like they're doing
Mm-hmm.
if they consider them. part
if
of
they
the
consider human beings.
right. I don't think they see them to that level of humanity.
That is so sad, you
You're
know.
gonna starve women and children.
Hmm. And you can see it. You can see it when you see the little footage that they want to show,
Yeah,
and I'm sure that they have to struggle to get to show that little bit that they show us. It's got to be 10 times worse than what we are able to see here in the U.S. of A. And then you got to realize that we throw away so much food on a daily basis that is crazy. It's not it does not register for us to be able to throw away the food that we throw away and to see a entire country to starve.
they don't call us the wasteful West for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
there's a
waste
reason,
the wasteful West.
right?
I want to just welcome one of your friends to the show, Mr. Rainwater. I think we talked to him a year or
Yeah,
so
hey,
ago.
brother Rainwater.
He's there, but he's okay. He's opening up his mic. So, did you want to come on live, or you just want us to hear you? I have to bring you in for us to
Yeah,
hear.
bring him on live because he's a good friend of mine. He
All right,
always has.
Mr. Rainwater, come on
Yes,
in.
sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Hey, brother
Oh,
Rainwater.
okay. Hey, brother Foster, how you doing, sir?
Uh, yeah, we just talking about a number of subjects here, my brother. We're talking about the redistricting. We're talking about Israel. We're talking about uh,
Mhm.
the president and his
With
manufactured
Russia,
situation with Crimea. I mean, not Crimea,
there's a
but
lot of news going
yeah,
on.
it's a lot of
Epstein.
news
Putin. Oh
going on.
yeah,
Putin, yeah,
Epstein and Putin and all of that.
right,
Yeah, it is a lot.
right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah. I was listening. Yes, sir.
what are some of your opinions on these topics?
Well, sir, the last thing you were just talking about, as far as the the Israeli thing and with President Trump and that situation, I think that is definitely unfortunate. To me, I think that's a mistake. I would hate to think that all the Israeli people feel like Bibi Netanyahu does, that starving people is the right you know path to gaining anything.
Mhm.
I don't. I hope and pray that the majority of Israeli people don't feel that way, and that that's a political thing with Netanyahu and them going on. I know that Trump in this country, as a president, he doesn't, present to me that he's a man that really has many moral values or anything. Because as you guys were saying, I think a lot of the things that he's doing is to block that Epstein stuff and things like that, and all the
Mhm.
pictures and all the things that I have seen, and also just personal stuff through the years. Anyone that's kept up with Trump somewhat knows that he and Epstein were, big buddies and did a lot of things. Trump used to hang out. I mean, they used to deal with a lot of things with all those rappers and people like the P Diddy's and all of that. And I, for one, am not going to be surprised when Epstein's accomplice Jillian, I forget her last name, but when she's pardoned by Trump, and
Yeah,
she will be,
Yeah,
she
I
will
think
be.
you
she
will
will
too.
be pardoned. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty
She's
sad,
gonna
but
get a pardon.
that's how it works. That's
Well,
how
That's
these
how it works.
yeah, that's how it works, man.
politicians work.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so, like I said, anytime they get into crises in the White House, let's head overseas. That's a major distraction.
Hmm.
The
Yep.
Away
power to
from
do,
what's
yeah,
going on
the
here.
power to get
So you
away and
still can hear me, right, Claude
yeah,
and
I can
Mr.
see. It.
All right, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure because I turned the volume on so my TikTok listeners can hear as well. Go ahead.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, brother Rainwater.
Oh well, all I was saying is that the thing that's so disheartening, man, about some of the things that's going on as far as in Texas here is that this is too a power grab, that Abbott is doing, and I would I'd hope that the majority of Republicans in the state of Texas, would look at it for what it really is. I mean, redistricting does occur and should occur every 10 years, and it's supposed to. But when you do it in the middle of, for no other reason other than to give somebody 5 seats that is unpopular with a lot of the public, and also probably going to be more unpopular when the true repercussions of the bill, this big whatever bill he calls it, when the repercussions of that really hit the American public, I think people are going to really have a different opinion of the economics of President Trump. You know, because just recently by him getting rid of the firing the lady in the economics, you know,
The
because she gave
the
him
numbers, yeah,
those numbers.
the
He
Yeah,
didn't
numbers
like
lady,
the
yeah.
numbers.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, because he didn't like the numbers. I mean, that still doesn't change the situation that
Yeah.
the
The
numbers
numbers.
are what they are, and then you go and make up. I think today or yesterday, I saw that presenting now. He's presenting. Oh well, you know, I found some new numbers that I like, but that still doesn't change the reality that you
Mhm.
know you got higher that unemployed people are still unemployed, that you know food prices and things like that are higher, because I know I buy gas and you know I'm paying higher prices, and I buy groceries and I know they higher. So uh
Mhm.
by you just making up some things, that's not gonna change the
The
condition
reality,
of the
yeah.
American, the reality that we as Americans are facing. It's not gonna do it.
No, it's not.
Well, you know,
So
you know, like I say, this administration. I mean, it's scary when every
Yeah.
you see they just passed $1 trillion defense budget.
hmm,
$1 trillion.
it's a lot of money. Well, you already know the only way we're the number one superpower in the world is because of our military. And as far as the way we govern, it's not the same. You
Yeah,
know,
but
our governance is so much different than our military power.
yeah, but
And to
this
this day, we're
administration
the only ones to drop the bombs, the atomic weapons on other countries,
and kill
and we
hundreds of
fight that
thousands
no
of
other
people.
country can achieve that capability. So why are we so adamant that nobody else can do what we do? And it's been the same principle and the same game plan since 1619 for this country. We do the same over and over and over again, and it's been a win-win
But
situation for the whole time.
why are we building ships to go to sea to launch nuclear weapons when we got long range nuclear weapons and missiles and stuff? Remember, we had ships because you got to go to where the action is. You don't have to
Mhm.
go there no more. You got rockets and stuff
Drones, you got these drones,
that can
you
go
got these
miles and miles and miles.
airplanes.
Yeah.
They
So why are we
fly
spending?
airplanes now from trailers, you
Yeah.
know, mobile trailers. You can move around and fly an airplane at the same time and strike with the same type of precision
Now
that you do if you're on site.
this
I
is
mean,
money in big business pocket. That's what this is. That's what that budget is. That big beautiful budget
mhm,
enriches the rich.
uh-huh.
And the only way he can make sure all the provisions of that budget pass, they got to manipulate the elections around this country. Start and Texas is at ground zero. Back to
Mhm.
Texas.
And now you
Everything he
go ahead.
no everything he's doing relies on Texas, man.
You know he came down here when they had that flood, right? That was not to view the flood damage. That was to tell him he wanted those 5 seats.
He
And
didn't give a
because
crap about the
immediately following that, Abbott went to work on getting those 5 seats for him. And he when he went to work to get those 5 seats, it actually, I mean, he actually put it into motion over the flood victims situation
right,
in
right.
Kerrville. You know, that was they kind of seemed like they just ignored the whole
Well,
situation after
that was
all
supposed to
these
have been the
babies
number one.
died down there
That was
in
supposed to have been the
Kerrville
number one reason for the special session was the
Special session.
flood.
was to get those 5 seats converted.
No, I'm saying
And
that,
and
but
I mean, what do they use? What type of systems do they use to draw new lines? Do they just say, all right, we know that this amount of people lives here, so let's circle this neighborhood, let's circle that neighborhood? What is there a systematic way that they draw these lines, or what
I mean,
specifically can you say you're trying to encapsulate into a particular district?
well, there are certain criteria that all, the districts have to be compact. They can't be. You can't draw districts that look like, let's just say, part of it's over here, part of it's over there. They have to be compact.
Mhm.
They have to be contiguous, meaning they have to. You can't have
Continuous
a part over
line
here,
go
and you
around
can't
the
have
this
a
this
part
this,
over
this.
here. And so
Hmm.
there are certain requirements that the districts have to be drawn in.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, they're complying. They're complying with that, but so because the quarter rule that R-shaped districts and all like that don't comply with the requirements of the Voting Rights Act. But basically, that's very it's a state. The states can basically do it, uh, like just like Texas is doing. They can eliminate districts. They can create new districts. They can redraw new districts. You got a certain population set. All the districts have to be the same in size, plus or minus a certain percentage. So you can't have one district with 100,000 people and one district with 50,000 people. They have to
Hmm.
be within plus or minus. I forget what the percentage is,
All right, I
but
got a definition here for redistricting. And it basically says after a nationwide census every 10 years, all
mm-hmm,
50 U.S. states are required to redraw their congressional districts to account for population shifts. The U.S. Constitution entrusts the power to draw congressional lines to the state legislatures in each state.
right.
And since the 18th century, politicians have tried to use this line drawing power to punish their political rivals.
As I say, both parties do it.
Hmm.
This is
Right.
just so obvious because the president actually told the state to do it. Texas didn't do it on its
Yes, he
own.
sure did, didn't he?
They didn't
Yeah.
just say, okay, we're gonna have a mid-century redistricting. They just redistricted in 2020 or 21.
Correct.
This is just 4 years later. They got a letter from this administration saying
Hmm.
that this is what you can do, and here's the justification for it. And they
And
use that situation. Now,
and
Texas said that they're not using that Galveston case, but that's the letter that they got from the Justice Department. And,
Hmm.
in the past, the Justice Department has been our friends in matters like this.
Hmm.
Now we don't have the Justice Department.
oh,
We don't. The, and that's why the Democrats had to do what they did. I mean, there are no other options
Hmm.
to stop this.
Okay, because I'm seeing that Republicans currently hold an extremely slim margin, 219 to 212 majority in the U.S. House.
right.
Republicans know
That they're
that
going to
they
lose
will
some
probably
seats in
lose these
2026.
seats next year in the midterm
Right.
elections.
But yeah, that's true.
And they're doing what they can do, and it's just you got a Governor Abbott that's so up Trump's behind. He's facilitating what Trump wants. They
So
didn't.
the
The
part,
And
legislature don't have to do this. This legislature didn't have to do what Trump told them to do.
right.
They could have said we just redistricted. We're fine with our uh,
well,
precincts the way they are, and,
Hmm.
and left it alone.
So is it legal?
Yeah, yeah, it's legal. They can do it.
yeah.
It's legal.
But if I could ask you guys one thing, what do
Hmm.
you think when this bill was passed, this big whatever bill into
Big
law,
beautiful bill.
big beautiful bill? Yeah. I mean, it was passed by one vote, and that's because when uh, Turner passed in the in
18.
the yeah in the 18th House, that left that opening. And see, Abbott, what he did was he's taking his sweet time having that special called election. So he, gonna have it like in November when they passed this. Of course, the 18th did not have a voice. So you got, taxation without
you mean
representation there.
District 18,
Well,
Yeah,
what it is
Houston,
when
right?
when Turner died,
Co-
rather than
yeah,
calling for an election within 30 days to replace him, he left it
right,
vacant to November. So the 18th
right,
have not had a representative since March
yeah,
because the governor didn't call the election to November. And
right. November
that
this
bill
year.
passed by one vote, and that
Yeah,
one vote could have been Sylvester Turner to stop
right.
it.
And you wouldn't have a big, beautiful bill. It would have been stopped.
When people
But
wonder, does one vote matter?
yeah,
Does every
That
vote
one
matter?
vote matter.
One vote matters. And that's
And
a clear.
that segues us into how important is it to vote these days?
correct.
Because most of us think that my vote don't. I ain't gonna say most of us, but some of us do think our votes don't matter, but they do. Every single one matters, and that one vote makes the difference in our house and in our Senate, and it definitely makes the difference out here because we put those people in the House and in the Senate. You know,
Correct.
that one vote could do it. So we got to vote, my people. We
Well,
got to vote. I
you
mean,
spend a good portion of your career telling people how important the vote is, and then you have examples like this that kind of slap you in the face. Hey, every vote matters. You know,
yeah.
every one vote, people gonna be without health care. People gonna be, be without
Oh,
jobs.
that
Trump
they
is he's got
they
a he
closing
put
over
in
300 hospitals in the U.S. of A. because of this big beautiful bill.
and people
Right.
that are in Section 8 housing and low income house, he's giving them 2 years. Then they got to go. Where they
Yeah.
going?
And
And
then
they
you got to
removed.
have this. It's almost like if you're on unemployment, right? You got to have a track record of where you applied for a job. It's the same
Yeah.
thing now to get these benefits. But the biggest part of it is it's not necessarily it's going to hurt black people, of course. But the
Yeah.
majority of people using these services are not black people. And
Correct.
but we're going to suffer just like everybody else, but this is a USA problem. This ain't a black people problem or white or Mexican problem for that matter. It's a USA problem that's going to cripple a whole lot of industries. And then you got to look at the illegals that at one point in time were here doing the picking of these fruits and vegetables. I mean, who's doing it now? Everything's going to skyrocket.
I
We
thought they were.
we as the consumer going to end up paying the cost, like you were just saying, Mister Rainwater. We
Yes.
pay the cost at the end of the day, no matter what, and it's
Right.
almost like we pay the cost immediately once they pass
So,
the law.
Yeah, but you don't see the
yeah.
media focusing on Iowa and vacant farms that the produce not being picked, or California the vacant farms. You don't
Well,
see the media focus on those. You hear the media talking
Mm,
about welfare and Section 8 housing and everything that they can put a black face on. And that
mm,
keeps that racial divide in this country. That
mm.
keeps that us against them. And that's been the power play since this country was founded. Because black skin has been used as the whatever's wrong with America, you know, crime,
Yeah.
welfare, all this kind of stuff has a black face, and and that game is still at play.
well, yeah, they do put that face on it, but like you just said, we know that a people that makes up 11% of a population can't do 100% of crime. I mean, that's the math ain't mathing. You
Yeah.
got 11% of the population, and uh, everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
That's the
so,
reality.
but
Yes.
that's the reality. But the thing is that I believe that once the repercussions of people being cut off Medicaid, once the repercussions are felt by the 300 million or so being cut off of SNAP benefits, those repercussions are going to be felt in Tennessee, Kentucky,
But you know,
Alabama,
but you know, it's
Georgia,
but you know, it's
all
funny.
over.
but you know it's funny about that. I mean, we see on the news the town halls, right? The
Yeah.
town
Mhm.
halls are not. You don't see Mississippi poor whites at town halls screaming against legislation. You don't see white people in Alabama, white people in North
But
South Carolina, white. I mean, you don't see the kind of people that this is gonna white people that this is gonna affect the most
yeah.
saying anything. You don't see it.
What?
That's how.
Well,
That's how.
that.
That's how intracted race is in this country, man. Politicians know this.
And even
I
if
don't know. I don't know what it would take. What would it take,
well,
brother? You from
well,
Mississippi? I'm from Alabama.
well,
What would
I'm
it take for a poor white person in Mississippi to be angry with this administration?
I don't think Donald, our current president, could do a single thing that will make some of these people angry because it all reverts back to what they want this country to be, to look alike, to look like. One thing that they're doing right now, one of the guys that said that police should be unalived on at January 6th, at the January 6th thing, insurgent,
Mm-hmm.
he's now serving in the FBI as one of the agents. I mean, and he said he didn't mean it when he said it, so he can still serve.
But
So
what would take a white person in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana?
there was I'm trying to answer you here.
All right.
There was a skit performed a few months ago that I saw where they played some of the worst things that our current president said to an audience, and then they ask the audience their opinion of it. And one of the ones that stick out is that if what's the daughter name? If the daughter was not
Ivanka.
his
Ivanka.
daughter, that he would be dating her. And they asked the audience what do they think about it, and most of the men, the white men in that audience said, well, that's okay. Because, if my daughter was as good looking as she was, I'd probably want to date her too. They'd say some stuff like that and act like it's normal behavior. So they're normalizing irrational and perverted behaviors to be accepted among normal and general conversations, which is a problem here in America because we're normalizing these illegal tendencies that's represented marginally on the, and then the Supreme Court is the ultimate weapon being used to validate these things that are just not politically correct. So
Right.
there's nothing he can do. Like he said, he can walk down the street and unalive somebody and he wouldn't go to jail. You got 34 felony counts and you're still elected president. And then the average person get one felony and you get 20 years in jail. You know, it's just so the two-tier systems that we have to live by is being normalized in today's society. So there's nothing that can be done at our level. And the people that with the power that can make a difference in what's happening in America today, they're not saying anything. And the first time you open your mouth to say anything against this individual, then you're fired. Like one of the FBI agents was told to fire somebody, and he said he didn't do anything, and so he got fired just because he didn't fire the other agent that didn't do anything. They both got fired, and it's just that simple with no reason, no probable cause, no bad performance, no anything. They can just be fired and everybody just going about their day. So just look at all the things that have happened in the last 8 months, and it's been hundreds of things, and nobody seems to want to go back and revisit those things. We turn our back on it all and act like it's normal operating procedure for America, which it is. And that's the problem. Everything is a normal operating procedure as long as it's done with this man at the top.
Yeah.
But anybody
Well,
else, no other president, no other individual could have ever gotten
So
away with some of these things.
so let me ask y'all a question, you two learned gentlemen. Why do you think that is? Looking at this particular man, why do you think the American public, mainly MAGA and most whites in this country, and some blacks and Hispanics also, but more whites than blacks or Hispanics. Why do you think Trump is given such grace, or that things go like they go for him? Why do y'all think that is? I mean, I have a theory of it, but I'd like to hear y'all's.
Claude.
Well, I think it has a. I think Trump has a certain macho about him. He has a certain swagger about him. I think he says what a lot of people think. They just don't say it. Trump thinks it.
Mhm.
He says it. I think people are attracted to that. I think whoever whoever put together, because Trump is not the smart one in the room.
Yeah,
The
Philly.
people that put together
Let me, let,
Project
hey,
2020
let
were
me give
smart.
him the link right quick so you and then you can pick right back up.
Okay.
Somebody on TikTok asked me for the link.
Okay.
It is BNN 247 on YouTube, and today's show is number 273. So BNN 247 on YouTube, and you should be able to pull it right up and go right in, and you'll pick up the conversation. And then you can add comments there, and we'll see your comments online. I'm sorry, Claude.
But
Go ahead.
I think Trump appeal. I think people often ask, is America a racist country? At its core, is it a racist country? And just like we've had discussions about the 14th Amendment and who the 14th Amendment is really for, it wasn't really for us. In fact, the founders made a point of not mentioning black folks because if they did, they would have been ostracized in their political careers. And so I think Trump plays to that. And so I think Trump really answers the question about whether or not this country is racist or not. Trump got 70 something million voters. Over 70, what, 75 or 76 million Americans voted for him. You can't say 76 million voters were poor and uneducated and dumb and stupid. That's
No.
not the case.
Mm-mm.
So I think Trump answers the question about this country and what this country is at its core. And all the accolades we can put on these founding documents, or some people say these phony documents, all the accolades that we put on them, I think Trump has exposed this country for what it really is.
Yeah. He did come in saying he was going to drain the swamp.
Drain
And
the
you
swamp.
gotta, to me, in order to understand where we are with America right now, you gotta go back to how this process has evolved and then declined. We started out with the civil rights movement with Dr. King, that the documented and televised portion of it, where we were trying to equalize or better our situation as black in this country. But our plight, our trajectory evolved into so many tentacles. The gay rights movement, the women's movement, the transgender movement, all these things are derivatives of our movement. And they took the same principle that we tried to use and they capitalized on it and they grew it into as big of a process as they have. So, in the whole time all this was happening, they come up with little bitty things to try and reverse what has been happening here in America. And the first thing that I know of is the critical race theory thing, where it's illegal. It was made illegal to teach slavery in public schools, in the public school system. So now you're suppressing the truth. You don't want people to know what's really going on here. And so now you need this great savior to come in and make reality. So they put so somehow Barack Obama got in the middle of all of this, and so let's do this. Let's show them that we are trying to make America the way it's supposed to be by putting Barack Obama in here. So they put him in. They put him there. This is all a plot to me. It's already set out in stone on how they're going to do it, and they already knew the person to come after Barack Obama was going to be either David Dukes or Donald Trump. So Donald Trump was in the right position to come after Barack Obama. So let's get him in there because we know his stance. He's
Could there
already
be?
put his word out, huh?
Could there have been a Trump without a Barack Obama?
No, I don't think so. I think they had to have him next. They could not have put a conservative Republican in the White House after Barack Obama. They had to put a
They could.
radical
They wouldn't have put a
Republican.
John McCain.
No, no, they couldn't have put a John McCain in there. They had to put a radical in there, somebody that was going to ruffle the feathers and do like he said, drain the swamp
Make
and
us great again.
turn the American political system upside down. And that is exactly what he has done, and he's done it for his benefit. Anytime you hear a president say you can buy a Bible for $100,000 or a pair of gold sneakers or a watch or even a gold card to get citizenship for $1 million. You give me $1 million, I'm going to give you a gold card to have citizenship in this country. You are marketing to yourself. Now, what is he doing with the White House? He's turning the White House into Mar-a-Lago.
He's getting ready to
E-
build that big dance hall or something on to
mhm.
the.
Everything
Yeah.
that these other presidents did to help America, to help nature, to help the world, he killed it. The rose garden is gone. The vegetable garden is gone. So he's changing all of those things. He probably I don't think he's put Barack Obama's picture up in the White House yet. He's
Oh, he
probably not
hasn't.
going to do it.
He put
And
some
now
Confederates up in the White House, I think.
he's doing gold plating on everything in there, and his thing is just like Mar-a-Lago. And he's turning America into the society that most fits the people in this
I
country,
know he's
according to
costing a
him.
lot of money because of the.
Every
Yeah.
every single thing that has happened in this country when it comes to big multiple, I mean, world changes has been based on white and black, not white and Mexicans, not white and anything else, but white and black. And the only thing that they have fought the hardest to do is to not allow black Americans to become recognized on a world stage. And that is what the goal is, to keep us from being recognized on a world stage. As long as they can maintain that, they got the power because they can own the land. And once they allow us to get the recognition and the restitution that we should have, then they no longer are important. They're never going to lose their importance, not in my lifetime, because that is what it's all about, them being relevant and important. And in order for them to be relevant and important, they got to keep their foot on us. That's what I see. And I don't think it's going to change no time soon because they got to keep us separate, and they picking us off one at a time. They've done this for the last 300-400 years, one at a time. They cannot take us out as a people, but they can take us out one at a time all day long. And that's exactly what they have done. And they're going to continue to do it. And you still see black people getting taken out left and right all over the country every time you turn around. You cannot stop them fighting without us unifying.
But you
Until
know,
we unify, they're going to win.
yeah, but
And that's what our issue is.
I don't know what unify looks like in Texas anymore. I mean, you got black Republicans. I mean, the argument in Texas is that it's not a racial thing because you got Wesley Hunt. He represents a district that's only 6% black, and so, you know,
But we allow them in all the time. We allow them into our culture, into our operations, into everything. But they don't allow us into their stuff at the same rate or the same level. And you look at our population, we're what, 42 million people in this country, opposed to over 200 million of them. Then you look at our prison population, we're what, 60% of the prison population when we're only 40 million people in the country. I mean, it's a targeted effort to subdue and suppress and keep this particular culture at a certain level, because the moment you take the brakes off, then you're done.
And
And
there's
that's
a
all.
reason, and there's a reason why prisons are in these rural areas. These rural communities get to count the prisoners in their population count for redistricting, for
And
federal
they can't
services,
vote.
and they can't, but they can't vote.
It's the way it is. I don't see it changing no time soon.
Well, I think it changes. I, I will say that I think that social media and having programs like this program, and I think people have access to information that we never had in the past. So I don't think we'll ever go back
Hmm.
because there's too much information out there. People are too much aware. Now,
Hmm.
whether they act on that awareness, that's another thing. Whether or not
Hmm.
there's enough courage
Well,
to act on that awareness, because you can have all the facts, have all the data, have all the information, but if you don't act on it, what good is it?
well,
Hmm.
Trump is famous for saying that he loves the uneducated.
Yeah.
He always says that. Hey, I love the uneducated voter. I love the uneducated. So I have to think that there's a reason for him saying that
Hmm.
he loves the uneducated, because an uneducated person is someone who doesn't, seek or try to understand knowledge, right?
Right.
So that's what he always says, is that hey, I love the uneducated, and uneducated usually means disinterested, somebody that just go along whatever. Me, I think when I look around this country, as far as black men go, or black people go, I think the real fear that the white society has of us is that a white male, I mean, I'm sorry, a black male or a black female, a black person, period, you're the only race on this planet that when you get together, when you procreate a child, that child is going to be mixed. It's different, just like Obama. Obama's not white, he's not black, but he's mixed. And I think that people like Donald Trump, because their numbers are dwindling, because whites aren't having children and stuff like that. Why you think that what he did was he says, okay, I'm going to keep all the black countries from sending anybody into this country, but yet I welcome the South African, the Afrikaner. I welcome that. But these others, no, no. I think that what happens is that when you mix uh, someone into your family, then obviously that person, if they get to know you as a human being, as a person, then their attitude about you has to change. And I think as this country has gotten older, and you got more, like Claude says, you got more social media, you got more people coming together, you got more interracial marriages, you got more all kinds of stuff, whether that whatever on whatever level you want to look at that. All of those things, I think, are what drives the people like Trump, the bigotry and stuff like that. And I think that's what scares the white male so much, is that his numbers are dwindling, and the more that his daughters and sons mix with other races and stuff, that gives them, they have to deal with that culture. They get to really know the truth about those cultures, and then that mindset is changed.
But you know what? But you know
And yeah,
what's that?
go
You know
ahead.
what's ironic? I don't see how Trump. I don't see how he can go to the University of Alabama, go to a football game, and them white folks in the stand can applaud him like they did, and and be rallying back, applauding those black football players on the field at the same time. I don't get that.
Well,
I don't get
that
how they can cheer for
yeah,
Trump and then
no,
cheer for those black football players
that's
at the same time.
that. Well,
Mhm.
I look at that this way. If you remember the history go during slavery, even though the master would misuse us as slaves and do all the things that they did, rape, all kinds of stuff with us. The one thing that they always did too is they butchered a hog or whatever and let the slaves have a party or something like that, and they get out there and cheer and drink with them and stuff like that. But on Monday, things went back to where they were. So I'm saying, Claude, that people, they can separate, I guess, those two things simply
Well,
by,
I guess you're
it
right. I
it's
mean, when you look at history, I
yeah,
mean, when you look at they could be out there with the KKK cheering with the
yeah,
KKK while they're hanging black folks at the same
uh,
time.
same
So
deal, It's
just
it's just
modern
that
Well,
day.
how they like Wallace, in Alabama, we ain't
mhm.
never gonna integrate this, that, and then years later what you find out that
Flip the
he
script.
had black children. Okay, so how can a man like Wallace, you do all this stuff, but yet you're sleeping with a black woman.
And
But
then
that
you,
didn't
you come out
change.
in public that you hate black people.
Exactly. But
Well,
yet when you go home, you looking at a black person, that whether that be made or whatever you did, but still you have a
uh,
black child somewhere.
I mean, that's just part of the history. Look at the founders. Most of them had,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep,
See,
they had slaves.
had
So
how
let
how do
slaves.
me
you
let
think
me
we have so many mulattoes in this country?
let me take us back a little bit to what our topic was about. Just to reiterate something, there are 150 members of the Texas House of Representatives, 62 of whom are Democrats. More than 51 fled the state on Sunday to Illinois, Massachusetts, and New York to deny the quorum. So that's the purpose of everybody leaving, was to deny the quorum. They halted the legislature from moving forward on the redistricting maps, and that has been the gist of the conversation today. But the whole story is, it's about racism, and I don't see it being anything else other than racism for them to want to redraw the maps at this particular time to set it up so they can maintain power. So
Right.
power is it, power and racism.
Yes, yes, and I would agree. And but speaking on that too, uh, why is it that you think that it's racist stuff, but at the same time, Trump will tell you that and his followers, the MAGAs, will tell you that he has the best and the most popular policies that this country has ever seen, and that everybody is going to benefit. All they got to do is believe in them or him or whatever. I've never seen a situation where a person tells me, "Hey, man, I got the best thing you going and the best car, the best whatever," but I can't sell not a one of them. Why?
Just
Because
trust
it's not good.
me. Just trust me. Believe me.
Just trust me. Just believe me. It's the best, but and that's the situation that I think that Americans have fallen into, is that it's that used car salesman that sells you the car because it looks really good, but when you buy it, it has no motor, you know.
And
But
they
it's
always
the
say,
best
I
though.
trust in God, but all others we verify.
Pay cash, verify, pay cash, and verify.
So, but they omit that for him. I mean,
Yeah.
is it because of his money, his influence? What is it this man got? I mean, that's so much power. It's almost, you can say, it's too much power for any one man.
Yeah, I
It's a lot
think
Well,
of power.
you're all right.
Well, you know,
about
he got he
him,
got he got
his
the
money.
legislative branch, he got the executive branch, and he got the judicial branch. He's
But
got consolidated all
but
that
but I
power.
think that the thing you missed though, Claude, is that he controls by intimidation and fear, and he controls with an iron hand because you had that senator, that lady, I forget, a senator, and they asked her about her vote on some bill they was having. This I think it's this big beautiful bill thing. They asked her about the vote, and she said, "Hey, I I'm in fear." She said, "The fear is real." Now, when a person that's in the Senate says something like that, obviously, whatever this person is doing is something that they can really feel that's being done.
But you know, we have a
So,
nation of checks
yeah,
and balances, and hopefully, I mean,
None of it's
you got
working.
the legislative branch. He's got power over. He's got power over the
yeah,
executive branch,
yeah,
and
None
our
of it.
only hope left is the judicial.
Mm.
You know, he's been running
yeah.
over the judges around the country, the circuit judges and the appellate judges around the country.
Oh, he's got control
But
of that too.
in the
Yeah.
Supreme Court, 6-3 in his favor.
But but why do you think he does everything by executive order? If he felt so comfortable with how
Bring
he's ruling, then
bring
why
it
not go
bring it
from a
down to the
legislative
legislature.
Why not
point? Why
use
not
those
do that?
branches?
Yeah,
Why
why
Yeah.
not
not
use
use?
those branches? He's doing everything by executive order.
Right.
Why if you telling me that he's got so much control over the House and the Senate, why not do it traditionally to the traditional legislative
That's
way?
a good point. Yeah.
Why would you? Why are you doing all these executive orders?
Because
Hmm.
I think it's all about him. I
Yeah.
think he likes signing that pen.
He likes showing his
He
signature.
likes holding up his signature and signing. I think it's pure
Mm.
selfishness.
The
Yep.
power.
I don't think he wants to give credit to anybody but himself. I
Yeah.
don't
So
think he
Mr.
wants to.
So Mr. Claude and Mr. Rainwater, we've been on a little over an hour, so I want to
Praise
go
God.
ahead and get you guys to do your closing comments, and you can take as long as you want to do it. But go ahead and let's hear what your thoughts about today's conversation are.
I'll let our guest go first.
Okay.
Well, oh, okay. Let me
Anything that's on your,
who.
this is free fall moment. Anything
Oh
on your
man.
mind?
Well, no. I'll be brief, man. My closing comments would be this: simply this, man. Is I just pray and hope that the people in this country would understand, as we just said, that the importance of their vote. Your vote is very important, and I believe that we, as a society, especially Black people, we need to definitely vote in larger numbers. We definitely need to learn to come together and understand that, all these isms and things that we normally go by, the organizational differences, the financial differences, and things like that. I'm not saying that we're monolithic because I know we're not, but we do need to be inclusive as to how we deal with things on a daily basis. And we do need to understand that as a race of people, unless we learn to start doing things to propel us as a culture and us as a society, unless we learn to depend on ourselves, we're going to always have the problems that we have now, and we're going to, have even more because everybody that comes in this country understands that, we spend a lot of money. We're the biggest consumers that there are, but our dollar doesn't stay in our community no longer than probably an hour or so. We got to change that. Our dollar has to turn over in our community 4 or 5 days, and we got to have the things in our community built by us, for us. We got to have our banks and our stores and all those things. And until we can get a handle on that, we're going to have problems. But as I say again, you know, I'm hopeful and praying that, as a society, we'll get that together. But that's all I have to say about
Okay.
it.
Thank you, Mr. Rainwater. Go
Thank you,
ahead, Mr.
brother,
Clark.
for joining us. let me just say that the format of this show, we try to just have a conversation like you would be, like our listeners would be having in their living room, at the coffee shop, at the when you bump into someone in line at the store. We try to have that conversation and provide a little bit broader insight into what we're already talking about. And that is, you know, my expertise, voting rights, the importance of voting. We just celebrated the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and it's kind of ironic that here we are, 60 years later, trying to protect what we thought we had already won that battle for. So you can never take your guard down in this country. You gotta always be on top when it comes to voting, when it comes to being engaged, when it comes to knowing what's going on in your community. And so we try to provide that on this show because the media only tells you what it wants you to know. We tell you what you need to know. And we talk about it in a way that hopefully you feel like you're just talking to your neighbors. So hopefully this show, in our quest to try to educate you a little bit more about redistricting, can kind of help you know what's going on. We need to support those Democrats that are out there fighting on our behalf because the governor and the state of Texas has all of our dollars working against us. That's our dollars that they're using to fight the people that we voted to represent us. So just stay tuned and stay on guard and educate yourself, and we'll see you next week.
All right. I
All
want
right,
to say
brother.
thank you to Mr. Claude Foster and Mr. W. Rainwater for being our guest today. Mr. Rainwater, please come on back next week, next Sunday, 3:30.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother.
I mean, we
Glad
love
All
to.
right.
to have the
That's great.
conversation with
Great.
you. And I think
Yes.
you're right in there, right on the same streamline that we're on right now, and that's a beautiful thing. So thank you guys for participating. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show, and I'm going to continue on TikTok. And I want to say thank you to my TikTok viewers. We just had a comment from someone I want to mention before I go, from Miss Patty, about reading our Revelations. I think she was mentioning that we should review Revelations, and we'd see that all this stuff that's happening today is mentioned there, and it gives us an insight into why it's there. But thank you so much, Mr. Rainwater, Mr. Claude. I will see you guys next week, and we will do it again to on BNN 247. And like I said to all of my listeners, that you can always go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook or Instagram, and you can find us there. But more especially, um, I want this broadcast to be available to all of our viewers on at all times, so you can at any time go right back to YouTube and find us at BNN 247. Uh, Mr. Rainwater said, I think I got his name right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. He said something about the dollar turning over and getting a handle on how we spend our money. That's a big issue. We spend our money the way we want to. It's our damn money, so let's spend it the way we want to. But we're going to these little corner stores. They're always owned by somebody from some other country, and it's right in our neighborhood. And our banks are the ones who are giving them the loans to put these businesses right in the heart of our neighborhoods. We have to become smart enough to know that this is not where we need to be buying our stuff from. We got to go to, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, we got to go to Walmart or HEB or even Target. I can't stand Target, but I would much rather give my money to one of these companies than to be buying stuff at these jacked up prices and this expired product that they sell in these little stores. So avoid these stores if you can. Start trying to hold your money a little bit longer. So when you get your paycheck, don't run right out and pay your bills. Sit on it for a week You're still not going to be late in most cases, but if you know you're going to be late, make sure you pay your bills. But try to hold on to it as long as you can, and then do what you have to do. But don't just let it come from your employer and run straight through your hands into theirs. You got to stop it somewhere. And that's basically what I think he was saying. Stop spending our money so fast. Um, and Mr. Foster was saying that this is the 60th anniversary of the Voters' Right Act, and it's up to us to make this act work. And as you can see the power of the vote. Look at who got elected president. Even though we know our vote don't elect the president, but our vote elects the people who elect the president. So let's start to utilize the little power that we do have, and it's all within that vote. One little vote, that's all it takes. And if you can't open up your wallet or your purse right now and say that you're a registered voter, then go ahead and register to vote. It is just that easy. Go ahead and do it. And they're talking about purging the rules, purging the files, and eliminating millions and millions and millions of voters. I mean, that's going to happen anyway, because if you don't put the focus on your registration when you register to vote, then how can you blame a society for following the rules that they advertised ahead of time? They are just enforcing the rules, just like all these laws on the book right now have not been enforced. And one more especially is that you, as a Black person in the USA, thinks you are a citizen, but when they decide to start enforcing these laws that show you that you're not, then you are going to get caught off guard, and you're not going to have time to fix your status. President Lincoln said you need to do something, and that one thing you need to do is take the oath of allegiance. If you're in the military, or if you can show someone in your heritage that was in the military, then you'll be fine. But if you can't show that, then you're questionable. And I'd hate to see this country start to deport our people. And ain't nothing you're going to be able to stop it. Look at what's happening already. The indicators, the signs, the signals, the warnings, everything is out front right now. And if you're ignoring it, then who is boo-boo the fool? They're telling you exactly what's coming your way. Please pay attention, my friend. Pay attention to what's happening out here. We don't need to allow this to continue without us correcting our status and getting ourselves in the positions that we need to be in to protect our family. Because what's going to happen is some of us who think we are upstanding citizens, we follow all the laws, we don't get in any trouble, we don't have any criminal records, we don't have anything to do with the law, but one of our children will end up getting caught up in the system and eventually being deported. And your choice is going to be, you want to go with them or you want to stay here, but they going. So get it together while you have the chance to, and the chance is now. Don't keep procrastinating and waiting for them to come to your house and cause you the issue. Then you're going to come out and ask everybody to support you. But now is the time to start your trail. Get on the trail and get it done, man. I don't know how much emphasis I could put on this for you, because you are going to get caught behind the 8 ball and you're not going to have time to fix it. That's all I'm saying. Fix it now while you got a chance, because the little stuff that you see out there now does not represent you. It does not represent you. You are not Negro. You're not Black. You're not African American. You're not colored. You're not a nigger. You're none of those things. So what are you? You can say, well, I'm American. Prove it. You can't prove it based on the 14th Amendment. You can say, well, the 13th Amendment did what? Set you free. Okay. But you never, ever see who you are in the 13th Amendment. You don't see who you are in the 14th Amendment, and you don't see who you are in the 15th Amendment. So because of an intentional omission of recognition of you, why do you think that is so? It's an intentional omission of identifying who you are, so you can never have a fight to validate who you are in this country. You can't. How can you validate something that don't exist? You can't. So I'm telling you, do something about your nationality. And you think that, well, the white people don't do it, the Mexicans ain't doing it, but Mexicans are what? From Mexico. The Koreans ain't doing it, but the Koreans are what? From Korea. The Chinese ain't doing it, but the Chinese are from where? China. But you can say, well, I'm from Africa. How do you know? You don't. You don't know if you're an indigenous to this land, or you don't know if you were part of the few thousands of people that got transported here on the transatlantic way. Let's get it together, my folks. Start to pay attention to who you are and why you are, and maybe we can get somewhere. They're not going through all this trouble to suppress you for nothing. They're doing it for control and power and to maintain it. And the only thing that's going to change that is you figuring out who you are and why you are and how you fit into this matrix of this country. It's a challenge, and it ain't easy, but you're going to have to weather the storm, or you're going to suffer the consequences. It's one or the other. You're going to weather the storm, or you're going to suffer the consequences. And if you can just marginally make it through, then you got cousins, you got nephews, you got nieces, you got brothers, sisters. Somebody gonna get caught up, and then they're gonna disappear, and ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. And who's to know that they might already be disappearing, and you ain't able to do anything about it. This is a fight that you don't even see. People are fighting against you that you don't even know you got a fight going on. You getting beat all in the back of the head and you don't even know it. You're getting beat down and you don't even know it. You don't feel the pain just yet. Wait until you start to really feel the pain, when you start getting denied these accessible things that you think you rightfully entitled to. Then you're going to realize that I should have been working on this a long time ago. You should have been. And I'm here to tell you, with BNN 247, your days are numbered. And I don't mean in alive and unalive. I mean in politically correct status. All this literature out here to tell you what's going on and you're not paying attention to it, ain't nobody's fault. You can't blame nobody for the position that we're in right now, because we have not done the things that we need to do to get out of the status or the condition that we're in right now. You know, you want reparations, you ain't getting reparations because you are not doing anything to get it. You can't just open your mouth and say, I want it, and it's going to magically appear. It's not going to happen. It's a lot that you're going to have to do. And the only thing I'm asking you to do is to do it. So with that, this is BNN 247, the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live every Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Please, please, please subscribe to us on YouTube, BNN 247. It's real easy. if you know you got access to YouTube or Google, you know you got it, give me your subscription. It's so easy. I'm not asking for very much, but a subscription. Help me grow those numbers, because we're going to be here whether we get your numbers or not, or whether we get you to subscribe or not. Go to Facebook, like us, befriend us, communicate with us, talk to us, and tell us something about yourself and what you have in common with your culture, trying to become a better culture. That's all I'm asking. With that, thank you so much for joining in today. We don't own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again on Sunday and on my periodic broadcast.